What is up guys, it's your boy Swell. I'm here, back with another Dragonflight gold farming and gold making video. Today I'm going to be showing you all of my specs when it comes to gold farming, when it comes to my class or my professions. And I'm using professions to basically increase the gold per hour from pretty much every single farm I'm doing. And professions in Dragonflight are quite the advanced system, and I don't feel like everyone has caught up to how they work yet, and that's fair. It's a very complicated system, and people don't know that, for example, enchanting will increase your gold per hour from pretty much every single gold farm out there, which is weird because that has never really been the case before. Some of the professions works in a whole different way than they did before, and in this video I want to show you guys my setup, so you can follow along and do the same setups. To try and make the video as easy to follow as possible, I'll be dividing the video into chapters, so when you go back and check this one out, you can skip to the chapter that you want based on which type of farm you want. So if it's a skinning based cloth farm, a rousing elements based cloth farm, or if it's a tailoring based cloth farm, so cloth based farm, whatever farm it is, there's a build for it, and I want to show you guys my build. So for my warlock, this one is set up for both skinning and tailoring farming. So if you don't know, you can actually take away your profession and still keep the knowledge points. So if I switch out skinning with tailoring right now, I still keep the cloth mastery on my tailoring on this character, but right now with the current specs that I have, it's set up for skinning farming with skinning and enchanting. Like I just said, enchanting will increase your gold per hour from literally any gold farm out there as long as it's set up correctly. So this right here, this section of the video will be based on a skinning farm, and I'm going to show you guys my build for a skinning farm and how you can do it different as well. So for skinning right now, I'm spec'd into leather. This one is spec'd into leather farming specifically, and if you want to make the most gold out of your skinning abilities, you want to choose between leather and scale. So you want to go for 10 points here, then max out leather mastery, for example, to increase your skill as much as possible while grabbing leather. This will ensure that you're getting as much tier 3 as possible while farming, and the price difference between tier 2 and tier 3 is still quite massive. So especially in the first couple of weeks, then speccing into tanning, then going for leather mastery is going to make you a lot of gold, unless you want to farm the basilisks, for example. If you're farming basilisks, you want to go for scale. So make a decision for yourself here based on which farm you want to do. Now we have a hyper spawn that still works, which is the Rockfang leather farm, all the way up in Onharan Plains, all the way up here, right? And that one is based on leather, and that is why I went for leather mastery, because that is usually my skinning farm right now. I'm making about 50k gold per hour quite steady from that farm, only based on skinning, which is not too bad. The basilisk farm can be slightly better, but if you're going for basilisk farming, once again, spec into scale mastery instead of leather mastery. As time goes on, you will be able to have both, and if you've had skinning from week 1, you might actually be like well into getting both already, but focus on one. And even like if I had the points, I wouldn't go into scale. I would have 2 different skinning characters set up, one for leather and one for scale, because after I'm done with leather right now, I'm going to max out regular tanning just to get the skill point bonus all the way through right here, and getting the plus 10 perception bonuses and also the plus 5 deftness bonuses. So after I'm done with leather mastery, I'm specking all the way back into tanning, maxing that one out to get as much skill as possible to give me as much tier 3 as possible. Now that is the leather or the skinning setup right here, and for enchanting, the only thing that will give you more gold here is Insight of the Blue when it comes to enchanting. So what this one does is it allows you to start locating mystic items that can be disenchanted into reagents. Actually I have one mystic item on me right now, so I can show you guys how it works. So yeah, you can locate mystic items while killing literally anything in Dragonflight, and these will give you greens, blues and epics to disenchant. So as you go through here, you will get plus 1% chance to get these ones as you go through. So upon having all 50, you will now have plus 50% chance to locate these items. You also get like random bonuses, like right here, plus 5%, and at the end you get plus 10%. So by having the entire thing, you will have plus 65% chance to locate these mystic items. There is one more thing that will increase your gold per hour here, and that is going into draconic disenchantment, and that is because these mystic items count as regular items. So for example, you will learn how to get additional items while disenchanting. So now when you disenchant your mystic items, you will get additional reagents. Upon getting getting all the way up here, so 20 points, you will also learn how to get additional vibrant shards for disenchanting armor, giving you even more vibrant shards from the blue mystic items, for example. This one definitely worth grabbing. And this one right here will drastically increase the amount of resonant crystals you are getting from the epic mystic items. So if you can get all the way up to 90 points, like you can see right now, I'm on 87 on this character, and this is based on 1 week of enchanting. I set this character up just for farming, and we got to 87 points, so that's actually doable in 1 week if you just set it up for a couple of hours. But yeah, 87 points right here. If you can get yourself to 90 points, then you will have this one giving you massive bonus. So try to get this one as well, but the most important one is having Insight of the Blue, and having the disenchantment bonus will probably add like another 10% or 5% overall. Either way, this is my spec for leather farming, and this is also like the spec you want to go for Insight of the Blue. Now we have covered leather farming and skinning farming, how to set up your specs for skinning farming. Let's move on to, for example, cloth farming. Actually, before I move on to cloth farming, let me just talk briefly about the setup for the 2x4 farming. So 2x4 farming means having 2 groups of 4 people. Based on that way, both groups are able to loot all the mobs as long as both group tags them. You can look at it like this: a mob has 2 loot shards, and if your group is full, you're claiming both loot shards. If you're 4 people, you're claiming 1 loot shard, and the second shard is able to be picked up by the other group or by a different group that can have up to the same amount of people as the main group. So in this case, 2 groups of 4 people can tag the same mob and get all the loot from the same mob. So with that being said, let's talk about the classes. So you want to bring 1 monk for the statue, you want to have as many boomkins as possible, and I want to make an argument right now for having 2 warlocks. So the best setup in my opinion is having 1 monk for the statue. That monk should be at the DPS, by the way, to deal massive DPS around the statue, and also just keep the statue up all the time, so massive DPS and all 100% uptime on the statue. Now you want to have 2 warlocks, and they should be affliction. That leaves room for 5 druids. So 1 monk, 2 warlocks, 5 druids. That way you are constantly pulling, and warlocks are also very good at pulling. Like, I have access to both demonic circle and demonic gateway, and I never die. As a warlock, you basically have full uptime on everything. You deal massive DPS passively. You will be dealing more DPS than probably all the other boomkins combined. If you're playing, like, 2 warlocks can deal more DPS than 5 boomkins, and they pull at almost the same efficiency. Like, boomkins are still obviously the king for pulling, but my perfect setup is 1 monk, 2 warlocks, and 5 druids. I've just seen a way better increase in gold per hour from that, because warlocks DPS are massive, and it's all based on one specific talent, the soul flame. When you kill a target, that soul bursts into flames, dealing 6.7k shadow flame damage to nearby enemies, and like, imagine this. The damage is reduced, by the way, when there's more than 8 targets, but it's dealing massive amount of damage. All I have to do is pull the mobs and throw a dot on them, and when they die, they explode. I don't have to use Seed of Corruption or anything. This will just make it so everything that I've done damage to will explode when it dies. And when you're doing a 2x4 farm, pulling 5,000 mobs per hour, that will cause chain reactions of explosions, just dealing massive damage while you're farming. So the next 2 specs we'll take a look at right now are based on Rousing farming, so element farming, and also cloth farming. So for cloth farming, it is essential for you to go into tailoring mastery. For tailoring mastery, the only thing here you want to care about is cloth collection. This will increase your gold cloth gained by a massive percent. You're getting 1% per point spent in the cloth collection. You're also getting bonuses throughout the entire place, like 10% all the way through, 20% here, massive 10% gains again, and you will also learn to collect bolts while farming as well. So like these tier 3 bolts, for example, you will get these bolts like regularly just by farming mobs in the open world. So specking this one out all the way to the max is a massive increase. Like, you can get a 50% right here, and 60, 70, 80, 90, 120, 110, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So 150% more cloth in the open world, and you're also getting an additional chance to get more wilder cloth bolts as well. This one is massive, absolutely necessary for tailoring. For cloth farming, you need to have tailoring here to make cloth farming worth it for you. And also, once again, the same spec counts. Ignore the primal extraction, we'll talk about that in a second, but for cloth farming you want to use Insight of the Blue, and then down into Draconic Disenchantment. So max out Insight of the Blue to try to find those mystic items that we just talked about, right? Where you can find the mystic items and disenchant them for loot. And then if you just want to do cloth farming, spec down into draconic disenchantment. That being said, this character of mine is set up as a hybrid farmer. I can now do both cloth farming and rousing farming. I excel at rousing farming, but I'm also about 95 to 98% effective when it comes to cloth farming as well. The only thing I'm missing is this one for cloth farming, which is going to give me additional vibrant shards when disenchanting shards. So, and also this one is massive too, so I'm missing 40 points to be like a massive hybrid farmer. But for now, we're just focusing on rousings and some cloth. So let's talk about rousing and farming elements. For this one, you want to max out Insight of the Blue, but first you want to max out Primal. So get 10 points spent into Primal Insight of the Blue, and then go down into Primal Extraction, max this one out, then go back up into Insight of the Blue. We just talked about you being able to get upwards of 80 points in 1 week, and you see I have 90 points, so getting this spec right here will take you about 2 weeks maybe, unless you do everything on week 1, but yeah, getting 90 points in enchanting is a little bit difficult, but 80 points is super easy. So you can get 80 points, which gives you 40 points here and 40 points here, meaning you're pretty much getting almost everything. You're just missing like the final 20% chance to locate these mystic items. But first of all, focus on Primal Extraction, because this one will give you 1% chance to acquiring additional rousing elements per point spent in the specialization for a grand total of plus 40%. So when you're farming for primals, like let's say primal ear for example, you're getting 40% more rousing ear than other people, which is a massive bonus based on that being the thing that gives you your steady gold per hour from that farm. So for element farming, go for primal extraction first, then go back up into Insight of the Blue, and if you get yourself past 90 points, you will get more gold by also going for this one as well. That is a massive setup though, but start here, then here, then here, if that makes sense. And that is basically all the farms that I wanted to talk about, like cloth farming, rousing farming, and also skinning farming. Those are the farms where having different professions will increase your gold per hour. We also will have videos on herbalism and mining coming very soon. I'm doing some tests on that right now, but there's so many routes to go when it comes to herb and mining, and so many different specializations that will all give you different gold per hour based on how you want to farm. Once again, the servers are being super unstable today. Now, just as an example, to tell you guys how much of a difference having profession makes, well, this is right here is a good farming location for rousing air, and we tested this one last night on stream, where one person in the group did not have any professions at all. I had all professions, and one person only had one of the setup. So without having any professions, this farm was worth about 35 to 40k gold per hour, baseline, no professions. If you then stacked only Insight of the Blue on top, it went up to about 60,000 to 65,000, depending a little bit on RNG, because you're disenchanting epics for crystals, right? So the better RNG you have on the crystals, well, the more gold per hour you make. So just by having Insight of the Blue, you already add 20k on top, and then by having Primal Extraction, we added another 30k. So to keep this one simple, no professions at all, you made 35 to 40k, adding one of this, so Insight of the Blue went up to 60k, then adding this one on top went up to above 90k gold per hour. Massive, like you already doubling the value of the farm just by having professions. And the same thing goes for skinning, like obviously you have to have skinning, but being able to get tier 3 will double the gold per hour value from the farm. And the same thing goes for tailoring. Getting additional cloth while farming will more than double the gold per hour from the farm itself, and especially if you stack that on top of this one as well with Insight of the Blue, you're more than doubling your gold per hour from the farms. So doing these setups is absolutely worth it if you're going to be farming gold in Dragonflight. Like, let's just say it doubles the gold per hour from your farm. If you're going to be farming for more than 1 hour, spending 1 hour to do a setup for a profession is going to make you more gold. That's how simple it is. Either way, that's the video. I just wanted to make this one because I've been getting so many questions about my setups and my professional specs, and this video will show you all of them with timestamps so you can check it out as a reference. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it helps you make a lot of gold in Dragonflight. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like down below, subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this one, more gold farming and gold making videos in Dragonflight. We're also getting very close to 40k subscribers, so a subscription would help me a massive a massive lot. Either way, thank you so much for watching, boys and girls, and I'll see you again very soon.